System is built specifically for tea traders identifying the special processes for the industry. While the almost systems use common functionality ERP to force processes into their straitjacket. Pre-quotation or pre-order costing, order processing, production planning, tea purchase, collection, purchasing packing materials, tea blending, production of tea bags packets, sales delivery. These business processes, tea purchase, collection, tea blending, differ from common functionality, and we have built them specific to tea traders so that processes follow natural process. No artificial purchase orders. Collections provide the lot and bags nature of collection. Blending process is very different from other manufacturing. LeoBiz Tea is built to make users learn and follow process with least amount of work. We believe system is for users and users should not be made to fit into systems.
System has the following competitive advantage. Decision support. As process take places and processed by the system, all related data including financial data is updated in real time and will provide information for decision making. Ease of operations. Operations of the system are made very easy and follow natural flow of activities. Users can, with minimum training, use the system without difficulties. Administrative support cost of business operations is reduced to minimum, which would improve the bottom line. In addition, we provide YouTube video clips accessible all the time, the training material explaining the how to process transactions, perform period-end processes and create customer, product and process. Timely information. Overall operational results can be obtained monthly in 3 working days after the end of month, and yearly accounts will be ready in 1 month after the year-end. So that know your operating results soon to make decisions. Multi-company support. Supports several companies in a group to share chart of accounts, supplier, customer and product data, and can eliminate intercompany account reconciliation. Multi-currency support. System supports multiple currency transactions to reflect the actual transaction, and exchange gain losses are computed by the system. Head office currency support. Subsidiary of multinational company should reporting results to the parent company in the parent company currency. This can be done by the system, eliminating costly report preparation time. Agile system. Due to low code, no code development platform MinSitP on which LeoBiz is built and parameter driven to tweak business process. System is very agile that changes can be made very fast and reliable when business or technology changes. Reliability. System is built with controls reducing inadvertent and intentional mistakes by the users, ensuring the reliability so the results can be depended upon without checking.
Profit and loss S can be compared with the figures of the same period of last year. Another report is available if it here was budget to compare with the budget. Cost of sale will show standard cost of sale based on standard bill of material and labor, and manufacturing cost variances reflecting the variations from the standard cost of production. Detailed P&L will show the components of the manufacturing variance due to cost of material price, material usage not in this report, and mix of material used. If labor costs and machine costs are included in the STD manufacturing cost, it will show if the labor machine hours are more than planned. Determination of standard cost depends on the situation. Standard cost for new customer-specific products will be based on cost estimation at the time giving quotation to the customer. A costing sheet will look like as shown. This will be used to create a bill of material when the customer approves the quotation. Based on this costing sheet, quotation to the customer can be generated from the system.
For repeat orders, and our own brand BOM will be reviewed for possible change of tea price. This analysis is based on the bill of material planned and defined in the system for products manufactured during the period. Bill of material definition will specify material required for each process the product goes through, and the requirement for given amount of finished good and estimate of waste percentage of material.
For each production order, variance analysis can be produced to identify where things were varied. whether it is due to price variations of material consumed or usage of mix of raw materials used. It should be noted that almost all other systems uses average price of grade. For post-posting, LeoBiz uses actual cost of the lots used. Most system users compute post-costing manually. Information on sales volume for performance cannot be compared using sales value. Sales volume need to be measured using a common such as net weight of the product sold, or volume, square area, or length depending on the industry. In this example, for meat products, weight is used giving daily sales volume in kilograms for all products, product group. Performance could be compared with same period last year. Another performance indicator for sales is gross margin. However, it should be noted, this margin is based on the standard cost of production. Production cost variances are not considered part of cost of sales, as this is a measure of performance of sales, and variations of manufacturing cost are the responsibility of the sales. For chosen accounting period, margin generated by products can be obtained. To evaluate the performance of salesman, margin by salesperson also can be generated. When dealing customers, credit risk is mitigated at times by collecting deposits or bank guarantees. System provides facility to capture customers all type of transaction including sales, deposits, bills discounted, guarantees, bills on collections, and obtain the net of all liabilities and assets of customers, including contingent liabilities like bank guarantees received, letter of credits received, bills received. In this example, Adam Expo exposure is negative because BNET guarantee is more than the debtors outstanding. In some cases, they may be covered by deposits. Revenue and cost could be managed by profit cost centers with comparison with previous years and against budget. Age analysis of accounts receivable will be available in the currency of customer in which transaction took place. Depending on the specific requirement, aging periods could be determined. A summary by currency under each currency could be obtained. List of customers and the age analysis could also be obtained. Accounts payable age analysis will be by currency and group of accounts such as trade creditors, expense creditors, utility creditors, statutory creditors, etc. as the criticality of each of these group differ. List of suppliers and the age analysis could also be obtained. Inventory age analysis will be based on the purchase date to indicate how long they have been in the stock, assuming whatever bought first used first. It will produce a summary under different groupings of products. Detail for each product could also be obtained. Inventory age analysis could also be made based on the last use date of item to indicate how long this item has not been used. It will produce a summary under different groupings of products. Detail for each product could also be obtained. System would produce results graphically so that top management could get these information themselves from the system rather asking someone to produce it for them. Example of sales for each year. Monthly sales value. In the product demonstration later, it could be observed that the operations of the system and the data required under varying conditions are guided by the system, requiring very little information on each dialogue and making learning and use of the system very easy. System handles sales process for own brand, customer-specific products, customer repeat orders. Processes flow natural flow as it happens in the industry, no forcing processes to fit into straight jacket model. Order purchase for other items, purchases processes in the case of tea purchases. Tea purchase is in lots and system follows the processes for auction sales, private sale and imports. Process for auction follows. Auction catalog upload online access from auction system. Price indication and division in auction by upload capture. Payment of advance regular and urgent. Payment of final both urgent and final. Collection of delivery notes. Transfer of delivery notes to transport. Receipt of tea with and without short delivery. This the process that is implemented in LeoBiz. In addition, whenever the business operations are performed, financial data is generated complete transparent to the user immediately, requiring no separate system function. When tea is purchased in auction and confirmed, broker liability is recorded with book stock of tea purchased updated. Exhibit shows both the confirmed purchase list by broker and GL entries transparently generated by the system. When tea department requests advance payments and final payment for some or all lots, system will imitate a payment request in the system which can be picked up by the finance division. Based on the payment mode defined for the broker, payment could be by printing a check or list of transfer to the specified account, setting off the liability against the broker. When the check is generated or transfer list is generated, supplier liability will be debited and bank account will be credited. When items is purchased for herbs and packing material and confirmed, financial data for both supplier liability and stock value will be updated. When tea, herbs, blends are issued to blending, system will update the tea, herbs and blend stocks and blend in progress account. When blending is completed, blended tea is placed in bags, system will update blend in progress account and blend stock account. When blended tea is issued to packing, system will update the blend in stock and work in progress account. When packing materials are issued to production, both stock items value and cost of work in progress will be updated. When finished good is transferred from production, both work in progress and finished goods stock will be updated. When the production order is closed, work in progress and variance accounts will be updated. When the sales invoice is generated after item delivery, sales, cost of sales, account receivable and finished goods stock value will be updated. Accounts department need not pass any journal entries for purchase, production and sales. System is designed to update financials on real time, as such financials will reflect operations results on real time. Functionality allows individual accounts of investments of fixed deposits, treasury bills, government bonds, commercial papers, debentures, share investments in quoted and unquoted companies to be maintained in the system and the transaction in them to be processed by the system. Similarly, time loans such as advance against LC in foreign currency, trust receipts, import loan, packing credit, term borrowing, such leases, project loans can be maintained in the system. Interest accrual, interest realization can be performed in the system. This allows interest income and expenses to be computed by the system and available immediately without waiting for data from financial institutions. In the P&L system, generated interest accrual for interest income and interest expense can be observed. This enables the monthly account on time and annual accounts not to vary from monthly accounts. All the balance sheet items need to be verified for accuracy. Balance sheet items consist of several individual items. Therefore, verification requires identifying and ascertaining the individual items and verifying their reliability. For example, trade debtors can be verified by getting confirmation from some at random or all customers and suppliers. Bank balance from the initial bank's accounts from the bank. There are group of accounts schedules that will cover very balance sheet item. Bank accounts used for collection and payment. Commercial accounts, not interest-bearing commercial activity accounts including payable, receivable and deposits. Investments and loans with financial institutions, stock exchange, shareholders, directors. Contingent assets and liabilities such as guarantees given and received, bill for collection and payment. Inventory items including raw material, intermediate goods, finished goods, packing material, spares. Fixed asset items. Work in progress with multiple accounts. In most commercial entities, other balance sheet items such as deposits, fixed deposits, loans, bills payable, bills discounted, letter of credits do not details have in their financial systems because none of the general ledger system supports having multiple partner accounts different or same subsidiary ledger. But LeoBiz supports. Therefore, every balance sheet item can be and ideally should be only a control account for which there should be subsidiary ledger of detail accounts to support. If you look at the balance sheet, double star indicates that this balance sheet item has subsidiary ledger and the detail account and transactions can be verified. No necessity to prepare schedules for auditing at the year end. LeoBiz will provide all these 7 schedules. There's a summary of bank account balances by currency giving opening balance, debit credit movements and closing balance. There's a list of bank accounts and balances giving opening balance, debit credit movements and closing balance. This will list all commercial accounts, i.e. accounts receivable and payable. Deposits etc. summary by giving opening balance, debit credit movements and closing balance. There is all list of commercial account balances giving opening balance, debit credit movements and closing balance. This will list all investment and borrowing accounts summary giving opening balance, debit credit movements and closing balance. There is all list of investment and borrowing accounts giving opening balance, debit credit movements and closing balance. This will be summary of guarantees and bills giving opening balance, debit credit movements, ND closing balance. There is a list of all guarantees and bills giving opening balance, debit credit movements and closing balance. Give summary of balances and movement in value for different general ledger linked inventory groups. This will also list each inventory item giving quantity and value movement. This will list fixed asset register summary information by groups linked to general ledger number. This will also list individual entries of the fixed asset register. LeoBiz is a multi-currency general ledger system. As such, all financial assets and liabilities are maintained in the currency the assets are acquired and liabilities incurred. Balance sheet will show the values in the currency of asset or liability, and if it is in other than foreign currency, it will show the local currency equivalent in which it was acquired or incurred. It could be observed advances taxes paid is in Sri Lankan rupee while trade debtors is in US dollars, euro and Sri Lankan rupee. For foreign currency assets, local currency equivalent valued at present is also shown. However, summary balance sheet at main account level will be in local currency only, as each one of the sub-accounts will be in multiple currency. As the exchange rates vary, assets in foreign currency will vary in realizable local currency. As such, its value needs to kept track of. System has the functionality to list foreign currency assets and revalue them using current exchange rate for buying and selling. Assets are valued at buying rate and liabilities at selling. System has a function to revalue them and pass general ledger entries to revalue and record the exchange gain loss.
Multinationals require subsidiary to report results of operation in the head office currency for consolidation. The operational results need to be reported in the head office currency by converting balance sheet items using end of period exchange rate and revenue items using exchange rate existed at the time of transaction taking place. LeoBiz supports the conversion of transactions to head office currency as the transactions take place and ledger balances updated in the head office currency as well. Therefore, the ledger balances for revenue accounts will conform to the conversion rules. MinSitP development platform uses reuse of 3 components to execute all functions of the system of all applications developed using the platform. For each function of the application, MinSitP Designer facilitates creating specifications not by program code or script but interactively. These interactively prepared specification with code complementing will be interpreted when the functions execute. These three components. Schema service interprets interactively generated specification of business rules formulated using models and patterns when database is queried or updated. WinForm Manager will interpret the specifications of dialogues appearance and data binding and dialogue navigation for users to interact. Report update. A Crystal report-like component will interpret report and table update specifications to produce reports and perform batch updates of tables. This allows domain experts with very little training in IT to develop user-centered business applications. Fast with inherent reliability. Users can export data seen on any grid by right-clicking and choose the type. Data seen in the grid will be exported to Excel without any effort. Users can also use advanced option of selecting additional data elements from the displayed data elements. Short name data element that was used is explained. It is added to the end but moved upwards. Voucher date format was chosen. Format for amount FCY specified. The format specification is standard and can be easily learned by the users, and it was copied to balance FCY was well. One could easily arrange order, change heading and specify format with ease. Once it is completed, clicking View will export the data to Excel. Next time you export saved format for the given dialog will be used. Each user will have their saved formats for each dialog. Whenever a capturing of data in a grid is seen, data can be copied and pasted from Excel Word. In this example, to add GL entries, Excel format that matches the grid may be obtained from another system. Another party is copied and pasted instead of capturing one by one. This is the dialog that initiates the report generation after obtaining runtime parameters for the reports. While running the report, ticking on the Excel will produce reports in Excel as well. All the reports can be exported to Excel in the format specified by the designer. In this example, two reports are produced by the same function summary and the other detail. Both are exported to Excel. Non-IT users can extract required data for the system using our simple query function. In this simple query, we are planning to extract partner transactions from the register that contains the data. We want extract for voucher date between 1st April 2023 and 31st May 2023 using source documents RCT and FFA that are debit and amount is greater than 10,000 and transaction of Adam Expo. Defining the section of voucher date using between relation and the specify start date and end date both inclusive 1st April 2023 and 31st May 2023. Defining the document using in relationship and specifying the inclusive vals RCT and FFA. Defining the debit credit option using equals relationship and specifying the one of two possible values credit. Defining the amount using greater than relationship and specifying the value of 10,000. Defining partner name using Contain relationship and specifying part of the name Adam. Results will be shown in the next dialog, which could be viewed exported to Excel with additional data elements shown. Not all the data elements are shown in the query dialog. Additional selection criteria may be defined by clicking the additional query conditions. When it is clicked, system will show all the registers and data elements in the registers that can be used in the selection. As the data elements are chosen, the description of the data elements will appear for the user to understand what those data elements reprints. By double-clicking the data elements, selection criteria could be constructed as shown. Users may require assistance from IT people to do this, but not necessary to come back to software vendor. With his additional selection criteria, data will be extracted and displayed.
Suppose we need to observe the electricity expense trend from the year 2015 up to now, i.e. 2023. We will have to get the menu option that displays general ledger entries and extract the required data. We will select data for financial year greater than or equal to 2015 and sub-account name starting with Electri, as we know electricity expenses in the establishment expenses main account and electricity sub-account. It will list all general ledger entries of each accounting period from 2015. As we explained earlier, this can be exported to Excel and analysis could be done. However, we use the advanced query option and perform the analysis without the exporting to Excel. If the summary options is clicked, it will give facility to define what the data need to be grouped by and what data need to summarized. In this example, we need to summary by financial year and summary of debit amount the expense of chosen sub-account. Next dialog shows our choices. We amended so that amount is debit amount minus credit amount so that any credit to the account is reduced from the debit to give net amount. Next dialog will show the totals for each year, which can be exported or graphically presented in the format of the graph we chose. Registers keep the debit-credit movement of each accounting period of each financial year in its ledger register. If we list it, it will the values for accounting period. However, a view of the expenses for each accounting period in a columnar format is preferred. These are known as cross-tab table. If the previous example, select the values for financial year 2015 to 2023 for electricity expenses but make the format cross-tab, it will show a faculty to specify the data element that should be in the column. We can specify by giving name and selecting the data element. Accounting period as the column. When we view the data, it will display in the cross-tab view as shown. These queries can be saved and recalled and executed with or without changes. With IT-savvy people, it can be made to be executed like a menu function where optionally a runtime parameter specified. In this example, all expenses are shown for the specified financial year in a columnar form. If you click any one of the expense item for any period, it will list all the items of expenses.
System supports storing and retrieval of business documents, associating them with related transactions and master entities. In this first example, we are retrieving telephone bill for a given month stored when the telephone bill was posted to the system initially. In the second example, we retrieving documents sent by customer on a system issue reported to us on the system and associated documents stored in the system. Example of saving documents when the transaction processed or master data is created amended. Business registration document SNET by the customer scanned and saved in TAR file is transferred to the system. If a scanner is connected, it can be scanned directly in the system.
We provide complete data dictionary access to customers with non-disclosure agreement. They are not just table name and data element name but will include description of business-related attributes. With this, IT staff and IT-savvy users can produce simple to sophisticated reports. Using Crystal Report tool. Include them in the menu with the help of IT staff or IT-savvy user, including access restrictions of the report functions.
Application access controlled by user roles assigned to user. Function groups of menu function. Roles access rights to function group. When user logs on, he will see only functions to which he has right of access. Each transaction processed, depending on the transaction type definition, may require optionally approval and confirmation, requiring 2 or 3 people concurrence to process a transaction in the system. It is preferable to have second person confirming to ensure error-free transaction processing. 2 people processing transaction is standard in traditional environment to ensure error-free data, but strangely omitted in almost all computerized system, but not in LeoBiz. However, option is given in LeoBiz to enable smaller organization to use the system. Once the transaction is confirmed, it cannot be changed. However, it can be reversed using a reversal transaction, leaving an audit trail and new transaction posted by creating a new transaction from old one and amending it and processing. All master data and parameter data should be made by one user and authorized by another user before it take effect. To cater for smaller organization, parameter is available for allowing single user to changes. All master and parameter data creation, changes, deletion will have serially numbered audit log showing the maker and the authorizer and data changes with before and after values. System administration function of maintaining user and their profiles and roles and function group association cannot be done by single person and requires to different users. Some functions require authorizer logs in and reviews and authorize, and some function immediate authorization. Almost of all functions, if executed incorrectly, have options to cancel reverse their effect. This is to allow correction of errors with audit trail. There may be instances where some errors due to user error or system errors require patching or data or change of data in the database. System administration provides function to change data outside application system function known as data amendment utility. This has to be done by 2 system administrators. One makes the change and the other one authorize immediately. An audit log is also maintained to record who made the change, who authorized it and what the change was. All system administration functions are logged into a serially numbered logs. Thus the system is reliable in every aspect.
LeoBiz, you have the advantage of decision support, operational ease, timely information, multi-company support, multi-currency, head office currency support, agile system, reliable system.